Welcome, welcome. Happy Constitution Day, everyone. We are so excited. Jenna, you are live.
Happy Constitution Day. I am here live in Philadelphia on Independence Mall. So I came outside because the weather finally, it was kind of dreary and rainy all day long. So I'm actually outside today. You can see our beautiful entrance behind me. So I'm so happy to be coming to you live from the Constitution Center on Constitution Day to kind of wrap up this fantastic day of programming. We've had so much amazing programming happening today, Madison, haven't we?
Yes, we have. Oh boy, it has been a busy one. We started with a preamble reading this morning, and then we continued on with my personal favorite event of the day, a naturalization ceremony where we swore in about 46 new citizens, which was just amazing. Such an amazing time seeing everybody excited to take the oath of citizenship, and then they get their official paper. It's just absolutely amazing. Then we had a panel with three of our rock star judges who frequently join us. That was a fun one. I really enjoyed it. I always learn a lot. And then Jenna, I think
actual rock stars were here at
yes.
the Constitution Center. We had the Slants, who are they're the one of the first Asian American pop dance bands in the world, but they're also the center of an amazing Supreme Court case. That centers around the First Amendment and the use of derogatory terms and who gets to own and claim those terms. And it was a really fascinating discussion. I felt really honored to be able to lead that one here at the center with Simon.
That was an awesome program. Yes, yeah. Simon Tam is amazing. We also invited a couple of historic figures to join us today. That was a lot of fun. Jenna, who was with us today at the center?
So it was really great. We had people, we've been speaking about the First Amendment, like we said, with Simon Tam, and then we spoke about the First Amendment with some historic figures. So looking at those First Amendment freedoms, freedom of religion, we spoke to William Penn, the founder of Pennsylvania. For freedom of the press, one of the most famous printers, sorry, Pulitzer and Hearst, but Ben Franklin was here to talk about freedom of the press. We had talked about freedom of assembly with some of our suffragists like Dora Lewis, and freedom of speech with someone who was an amazing speaker, Frances Ellen Watkins Harper. And I think she used all of the freedoms. I think they all did, but it was really amazing to talk about each one of those historic figures and learn how they connect to freedom of those First Amendment freedoms.
I love it. That was an amazing one. And you can see some of those individuals, their stories are highlighted in our exhibit. So definitely make your way over to see those incredible stories. We had our kids town hall, and then we had a special student town hall with a First Amendment rock star, Miss Mary Beth Tinker. That was amazing. I know I see some of you joining this program also joined that program. So you know that Mary Beth Tinker is amazing. At 13 years old, she is kind of the heart of a Supreme Court case where she really kind of discusses her role and her involvement in student speech and freedom of expression and her direct impact on it. So an amazing program. We had just a delightful time talking with her. And I know that a lot of you were able to join, and that makes me so, so, so happy. We just wrapped a little while ago our Constitutional Convention Scholar Exchange. It is not Constitution Day unless we talk about the summer of 1787.
So yeah, we love the First Amendment, but you can't ignore that.
We can't ignore that either, right? It's a fundamental part of it. So we had so much fun. I noticed that some of you joined that program as well. The good news is if you missed any of these programs, you can head right on over to our YouTube channel. I will pop that in the chat. You can watch all of the recordings and relive the fun for as long as you'd like. So this will be our last program of the day, and looks like our friend Brian is going to be joining us from a very special place. Let's see if we have Brian here.
Brian, do we have your video yet? So you might be wondering, Madison, Jenna, why are you guys talking so much about the First Amendment on Constitution Day? There's 26 other amendments, but that's because here at the Constitution Center, we did just open a brand new exhibit. It's our first exhibit in 2 years, and we're really proud of it and want to show it off, and that is our First Amendment exhibit. And so before we read the First Amendment together, Brian's going to give us a little bit of a sneak peek inside that First Amendment exhibit once we focus his camera. Brian, are you there?
Oh, Brian, you're on mute. Here we go.
Sorry about that. Yes, I am. I'm here in front of our brand new, there we go. I gotta frame that a little bit better for you folks. I'm here in front of our brand new First Amendment exhibit. It sounds like, would you folks like me to show you around at least a little bit?
Yeah, I think a couple
Wonderful.
favorite artifacts
Oh,
before we read the
absolutely.
amendment together.
Wonderful. All right. Well, welcome folks to the First Amendment Gallery here at the Constitution Center. We're going to walk through this exhibit, which is less than 2 weeks old. Is that right, Jenna?
Yeah, just
No-
about.
Wonderful. So,
Tomorrow, I think 2 weeks tomorrow.
wonderful. All right. So we are entering through the gallery here. We'll have a little bit of an introduction to the First Amendment, the text of the document we have along the wall over here behind me. And I know we'll have a little bit of a reading in that in just a moment. But the gallery will introduce what exactly is this First Amendment, what does it say, and really what has it meant to us, to we the people over the years. Now, there's a few different elements. I'll have our freedom of religion in this particular section here, looking at both the Establishment Clause, saying whether or not the government can establish a religion, and the Free Exercise Clause, the ability of Americans to practice a faith or not practice a faith, or to be free to do so. Likewise, we'll have a section on the freedom of the press in our section over here. And I'll see if I can show you folks a few artifacts in just a moment, looking at the freedom of speech and of the press, the way we the people may exercise these freedoms. And then behind me as we enter the gallery, as we see many of our friends who are joining us in person on this Constitution Day, we have a look at the freedom of petition and assembly. Now, I actually might, since I am so close to this here, do you mind if I take a look at some of the artifacts we have right in this case? I think there's a wonderful selection of items that we can see in the case beside me. Examples of how Americans have exercised their freedom of assembly, to gather together, to essentially lobby their government, to ask those in power to take steps and secure their freedom. We have a pennant here. We can see the I was there at the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom at the Lincoln Memorial pennant that we would see above. Below that, there's an item, and I realize that might be a little trickier one for some of you folks to see, would be one from a Reminder Day demonstration for LGBTQ rights here in Philadelphia. Other items would be about campaigns for or against the Equal Rights Amendment, but I really love to feature this one because honestly, I think when any of us think about the freedom of assembly, we probably think of that March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, where Dr. King delivers the I Have a Dream speech, and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of Americans gathered on the National Mall to call attention to where they felt justice could be done and how we could form a more perfect union. Now, there are so many things to see in this exhibit, so many fun interactive features, artifacts, a lot of great video features as well, including our friend Simon Tam, who visited us in person here at the center today. But I want to see if I can show you folks a couple of items that we would have. Let's see, over in this section here. Oh, gosh.
Brian, can you show us the armband? I think that'll be a one
Oh,
everybody would love
absolutely.
to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So many of our friends joined Mary Beth Tinker. Let me make my way to that. Trying not to get too much in the way of our guests who are joining us in person today as well. All right. So we have our feature on freedom of speech and of the press. Let's take a look at this here. And really, you can think of how much one small item could have made such a big change in American history. Here it is, right below us here. We can see in this case, that little black armband. And actually, there's a picture of a young Mary Beth Tinker there that we can see near that armband. And honestly, probably pretty small for me here too, but really remarkable to see that. And it's so great that so many of our friends online were able to join us today and speak to her about her experiences. Is that right, Jenna?
Yeah, Madison and Tom led that program earlier, and she's always fantastic and such a great friend of the center. So we're so happy that she joins us for programs like this, and that she was so generous to donate that armband to the exhibit.
And we were really thrilled to have that. It was really exciting. Actually, right above that, the passage, the draft opinion from Justice Brandeis about the idea of defending freedom of speech and the idea that the solution is more speech. The solution is not too restrictive. I think we have a quote over here: the remedy applied is more speech, not enforced silence, when we are debating or disagreeing about these ideas. Now, Jenna, is there any special artifacts you would really love to see in here as well?
I know that I love the armbands. I think as
Oh, I
long as
love the armbands.
we got to
Absolutely.
see that
Well,
one.
I know we wanted to make sure that we saw that one. I'm trying to think of like so many other really interesting features there, but I think that might
Well,
be my favorites as well.
what's also really cool about some of our not just the artifacts that are on display, but some of our interactive elements of the exhibit are all available online. So I know that a lot of our teachers and student friends will love this. There's kind of a object table, so virtual artifacts that you can kind of learn about and how they connect to freedom of religion and freedom of religion cases. So just these kind of innocuous things like a piece of cake or a pendant. How do they relate to freedom of religion? We also have a is it protected quiz, so you can go through and find out if all of these different freedoms are protected by the First Amendment. So I think I would definitely highlight those virtual artifacts because those are interactives that will be available online. I don't know if we have the links quite yet, but tune in soon, and we will make sure that we have some of these virtual elements of the exhibit, available to you to use in your classrooms.
Absolutely. That was what that one gentleman I just passed by was taking a look at. You get an option of 7 different scenarios relating to the exercise of the First Amendment, all 5 freedoms, and you'd be asked, is it protected? What does the First Amendment mean in this situation? And then find out whether your answers line up with those that the Supreme Court has made throughout our nation's history. And at least to give us a good look, the one you mentioned, Jenna, that's online, I wanted to show it because I do think it's a wonderful feature here where I can maneuver a number of these images and pull up real cases about the freedom of religion and how that has played out throughout American history. But I don't want to dwell too long because I don't want to spoil anything for our friends to see when they get a chance to explore these online.
And we are doing later in the week, we are doing a full virtual tour with our exhibit designer, Elena Popchak will be joining us to kind of give us a really in-depth look at this exhibit. So this was more of a sneak peek today because we thought that it would, since we have been celebrating the First Amendment, we thought it would be a fantastic way to end Constitution Day by reading the First Amendment together. So friends, I am going to read the First Amendment aloud for you. It's really short. It's why we don't do the 14th Amendment readings, but I am going to read the First Amendment aloud, and I invite you to all read it along with me in your classrooms or wherever you are. All right. Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Thank you. Hope I did it justice.
Oh yeah, it was good. I felt like Vanna White there. I was gesturing at which passages.
Thank you. So friends, like I said, happy Constitution Day. We have had a fantastic day. I hope that you did too. I hope that you've been able to celebrate with us, either whether you were here with us in person, having some cake and enjoying all of our programs, or whether you were joining along online, or whether you continue to celebrate with us throughout the rest of the week, either watching some of these programs on YouTube or using our interactive Constitution, Founders Library, Constitution 101 curriculum. There's a lot of great programs and resources available on our website, constitutioncenter.org. So I definitely encourage you to check out all of those things. And if you can, visit us here at the Constitution Center and see our fantastic new First Amendment exhibit. Thank you, everybody, and happy Constitution Day.
Thank you, folks. Happy Constitution Day.
Happy Constitution Day. Thank you. You're welcome, Robin. All right, we're going to sign out now. But like I said, all the programs will be available online to watch later.